Hello, boys and girls. It's time once again for reading workshop. Do you remember when you came into first grade the first weeks of school last September? You had to introduce yourself to your teacher and to your friends, and you had to tell them a few things about yourself, maybe about your favorite toy or a favorite food. And I bet you think you all knew each other so very well as you went through the year. But I bet you if you had to repeat that same introduction, you will all be so surprised about how many new things you didn't know about each other. Well, boys and girls, books are just like that. When you read about a character for the first time, you think you know a lot. You might even be able to name out a few things, a few details from the picture and the words. But I promise you, if you reread the same books, some of the same pages, you'll be surprised at the many, many new things you discover about the character. That is why today I would like to teach you that readers reread to learn more about characters. While they're rereading, they're thinking, what do I already know about the character? What new things am I learning? And then think, what does that teach me about the character? We're going to try that in our book, Mr. Potter and Tabby Drop the Ball. And we're going to do this work together. Start on the first page in the first chapter, baseball. And we're going to think, what do we already know? What new things we're learning about Mr. Potter? And what is that teaching us about him? Let's read this together. Baseball. Mr. Potter and his fine cat Tabby loved to nap in the summertime. They loved napping in the garden. They loved napping on the porch. They loved napping in the car. So now, yesterday we already knew that Mr. Potter likes to nap. But what new things are we noticing right now? As I'm rereading it today, the new things I'm noticing is that Mr. Potter don't just only love to nap. In the picture, we could see that he loves to nap in different places, and in the words, we could tell that he loves to nap in different places and that he loves to nap in certain season. It says here he loves to nap in the summertime. And he loves to nap on the porch, and he loves to nap in the car, and he loves to nap in his garden. And in the picture, we see all those places where he loves to nap, and also in the words. But I'm thinking, what does all these new things teach us about Mr. Potter? I want us to think together about it for a minute. I bet you're thinking that it's making you realize that Mr. Potter is really a very old man and that he's not so peppy anymore. And the word peppy means that he's not so high spirited and lively as when he was younger. So that's why he needs a lot of rest. So now let's see if we could read on and learn some more new things about Mr. Potter on some other pages. Let's try it together on another page. And we choose in this page to reread. Remember to think what new things you're learning, what you already know, what new things you're learning, and then finally to think, what does that teach you about Mr. Potter? I think we need baseball, said Mr. Potter. Tabby opened the other eye. I wonder where my old mate is, said Mr. Potter. He headed to the basement. Tabby was wide awake now. Let's pause here for a minute. Are you learning some new things about Mr. Potter? And what are those new things making you realize about him? Turn and talk with someone at home and then come on right back. Now that you're back, let's think. What did we already know? We already knew that he loved to nap in different places from the previous pages. But on this page, I bet you're noticing something new about him, like that he's a sporty character. And why would we think that? Because we see that he's storing a lot of sports equipment in his basement. And so we're seeing some roller skates. We're even seeing bicycle and some other things. So that's why we're thinking he's a sporty character. I think he's sporty just like Mrs. T-Berry that we read about, his friend Mrs. T-Berry. So do you notice how we are learning some new things about the character from the pictures and the words? In the word, he says, I think we need baseball, which makes us know he likes baseball. And that now we're learning also that he's heading to the basement because that's where he's keeping all his sporty equipment. So boys and girls, your job today is to reread and use some evidences in the pictures and words to help you learn some new things about the characters in your book, just like we just did together. So as you do that kind of work today, remember to read at least 3 books on my own or Raz Kids and practice the strategy in there. Think about things you already know about the character. Then think about what new things you're learning and what does the new things teach you about the character. Most of all, I want you to enjoy reading.